So Donald Trump and some of his associates, did not like the result of the election in Georgia.
I think that people found it implausible that an Alzheimer's patient that can barely form a sentence is getting the most votes.
Sorry, what?
An Alzheimer's patient, Joe Biden, who can barely form a sentence.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that Joe Biden is cognitively in decline, and that's fairly obvious.
No gun-free zones.
Wait, so more guns.
Yep. Can't fight fire with water. You gotta fight fire with fire.
This was the moment it all went south.
You can't fight fire with water?
Yeah. Depends on what's in the fire.
They specifically do fight fire with water.
Yeah.
I wish I could say I was surprised, but...
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
He said it. Their own leader said it to their faces.
So Donald Trump and some of his associates, did not like the result of the election in Georgia.
I think that people found it implausible that an Alzheimer's patient that can barely form a sentence is getting the most votes.
Sorry, what?
An Alzheimer's patient, Joe Biden, who can barely form a sentence.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that Joe Biden is cognitively in decline.
Stunning stupidity, but it's a trend.
Tell me about if Donald Trump does not win, what do you do?
I hope that I'm going to die.
She might laugh, but this interview was with our own David Schuster, and it simply went off the rails, pointing to how a harmless joke may not be laughable after all.
Well, for one, you're talking to someone that was there on January 6th. He didn't try to overthrow the election, okay? What he tried to do was the legal way.
Try again.
I just think unions protect people who don't really want to work hard.
An insane line of thinking.
What's it about Donald Trump that you like?
Everything. Everything. We need Donald Trump. He probably is the only thing that's going to stop us from World War III. He won the last election. He got cheated. We all got cheated. Not only is he for America, but he can save the world. Not just America.
What will you do if Donald Trump loses in 2024?
Time to pack up and move to the mountains.
She won't do it.
If Donald Trump is convicted in any of these cases, would that change your mind about voting for him?
It would not. Not at all. It'd make me want to vote for him more.
What would it say about the justice system if he's convicted?
The justice system is a joke. If you haven't looked at any real law cases, the justice system is a joke. Perfect example, Hillary Clinton. She should have been in jail a long time ago. Bill Clinton should have been in jail a long time ago. Joe Biden should have been in jail a long time ago.
But if the justice system is a joke, how could we trust even, say, a conviction of Joe Biden?
Because you can't trust anything anymore. You just answered your own question.
What will you do if Joe Biden wins and Donald Trump loses?
Me? I'm already getting ready for what I'm going to do.
You said you're getting ready. Getting ready for what?
Getting ready for the collapse.
So what will you do? What does a collapse look like?
Your economy is gone. Your money, you're going to look like Venezuela. That's simple.
This guy is just a walking right-wing talking point. Makes me feel for him, honestly.
What will Donald Trump do to save America in a second term?
Close the border. Close the border and get all these illegals that came in through the border not illegally out of this country and bring oil back.
What is it about the illegals that's so problematic?
They come in not wanting the American dream. Like years ago, the illegals came in for the American dream. They came here to work and make a better life for them and their family.
But I thought that's what they're crossing now. They all say, we're escaping violence in Ecuador and Honduras and all these sort of places.
To me, they're coming in to ruin this country. We're going to get attacked in the middle of this country because of some of the illegals that we can't vent are coming in, and that's their way in to get us. That's my feeling.
So you think some of the illegals are here to destroy us?
Yes, absolutely.
Just came right out and said it, didn't they?
I see we've got Trump, we've got Eagles, we've got a bust of George Washington, we've got a white horse here.
Yes, well, George Washington's white horse, as you can see, George is riding the horse here, and Trump is in the center of all of this.
If this MAGA artist put as much time and energy into figuring out the real reasons why there are so many problems in our country that he put into this off-putting painting, we would have another ally joining us in the fight against Trump and authoritarianism in general. But as we all know, the Republican establishment preys on the most vulnerable people, eventually convincing them to vote against their own material interests by distracting them with carefully crafted culture war talking points and conspiracy theories to keep their minds off the politicians and corporations responsible for their suffering.
And what about former President Trump and, not being terribly religious, not being a churchgoer?
He believes in God, So there you have it.
Do you think President Biden believes in God?
No. Not at all. He worships the devil.
How, like, specifically, where do you see, like, oh, that's because President Biden worships the devil, that blank?
Child sex trafficking, the schools, kids, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
And do you think President Biden's responsible for child sex trafficking?
Yes.
You do? In what ways?
Every way.
Don't get us wrong, we're no fans of JB ourselves, but believing this nonsense not only trivializes the real horrific crimes being committed against children, it also distracts these people from thinking critically about the root causes of the hardships they're facing.
He's not running our country anyway. It's Biden, it's Obama, it's Soros, it's the deep state that's running our country.
Where was that proven?
Where was that proven?
Yeah, in other words, that there's this thing called the deep state.
I don't know if it was proven or not. I can't say that, but you probably know in your heart of hearts that Joe Biden is not running our country. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad that he's even up there. He's not running our country. Everybody knows that. I
don't know that everybody knows.
Well, probably 95% of the people probably know it, but they just don't want to admit it. So, but look at 2,000 Mules. Look at all of the evidence of what they have done as far as cheating. It's right there. But we have the DOJ, we have the FBI, we have the CIA. They're all in the left's pocket.
Well, there are a lot of Trump-appointed. There are a lot of Trump-appointed judges. As a matter of fact, I think 59 of them heard cases of election fraud and found absolutely nothing, and one of them on a technicality did. And so I think that, it's been adjudicated in the courts at the very least. What I'm asking is, you don't think any of this disqualifies him from being president?
Are you kidding? Why would it? Why?
The only pockets our government agencies are in are the corporate lobbyists that negotiate with and pay our politicians to direct policy that aligns with their economic interests. It's really just that simple. Our country has not only legalized political bribery, but it incentivizes it to happen at the largest scale possible with kickbacks in the forms of subsidies, tax breaks, turning a blind eye to labor violations, and potential fraud, just to name a few, of course. That is the deep state that is really controlling our country. But right-wing propaganda is so good at deflecting the blame onto historically persecuted groups like Jewish people, immigrants, racial minorities, the LGBTQ plus community, etc., that people caught up in it may not realize what they're actually advocating for.
I don't think he can stop, but he's been like Jesus Christ saving this country, giving his life for this country.
So Donald Trump has been like who?
Jesus Christ.
Donald Trump has been like Jesus Christ?
Yeah, saving this country, giving his life for the betterment of the people of the country.
And then you have these fools who sadly, legitimately believe that Trump gives a damn about their lives and well-being.
He's given his worth, his time. He's not on vacation like Biden. 40% of the time he's on Delaware on vacation.
He played golf so much when he was president.
And look how much he did.
Well, he played a lot of golf.
According to data compiled by Trump Golf Count and Statista, during his presidency, Trump made at least 285 trips to golf clubs, with evidence of him playing during at least 142 of those visits, costing the American taxpayer about $142 million in the process. And of course, he went to his own clubs and resorts the vast majority of the time, funneling money out of our pockets into his. But to this Miami Trumper, this is just an aspect of Trump's genius, stable, bright brain.
Yes, and he accomplished things.
But, well, he played so much golf, though.
And people respected him.
Why are you excited to see Donald Trump?
Best president in the last century.
In what ways? And what is it about his presidency that made your life better?
I think he kind of brought together diversion between races. I think that things were good for everybody.
Specifically what?
Hispanics, blacks, whites, everybody, all the middle class. So I believe he did that.
What would you like to see him do?
And he did it in 4 years and 2.5 years, and now we're into is the world gonna explode because of policies and things like that.
Very excited. Love Trump. He's the best.
What do you love about him? What did he do when he was president that, one thing that made your life better that you love about him?
Everything he did made my life better.
Specific.
He doesn't lie. He tried to reduce our taxes. He tried to eliminate the evil that's the left.
Tell me about that. Do you think that the left is evil?
Absolutely, 100%.
In what way?
In every way possible. They lie. They're hypocrites.
About what? I'm sorry, I'm being a journalist here, but I'm just trying to get specifics. Like what?
Okay, they lie about lowering taxes. They lie about helping the American people. They lie about what they're doing in education to our children.
What is it that they're lying about there?
Well, everything. I mean, I think they've totally dumbed down our children. Our children don't know half of what we used to know when we were young, and it's all done on purpose. I just don't feel the left has the family and children at the base of their concern. I really don't.
And by the way, are there any Italians in the room? Okay. Well, we are protecting the legacy of Christopher Columbus, okay? You know, the Italians are tough. I love the Italians.
This is one way to support genocide from the former president, Donald Trump.
You know, when you look at our holidays, you realize, wow, some of them are really weird. And we celebrate the guy who discovered America, even though there was already, millions of people living here for thousands of years. And, he called them Indians because he thought he landed in India, but he up and landed in America. But they just kept calling them Indians, and they pretty much slaughtered all the Indians. And we have a holiday celebrating that guy. So it's a little weird.
Comedian Judah Friedlander sees it very, very differently than the leader of the Republicans.
Some have both had the disease and the vaccine, but we should study that also because we would want to know, is the vaccine more dangerous or are you more likely to have serious side effects? And one dose may be enough, but also maybe 0 doses is enough.
Incredible messaging from this party.
I asked the audience how you feel about the anti-vaccination people, and I say I don't think they're anti-science. I think they're just pro-diseases' rights, and you have to look at that. Diseases are very discriminated against in the medical community.
And rightfully, the comic sees it in his own hilarious spin.
Here's an idea, and it just said, "Make America Great Again" in the hat. And they brought that sample to Donald Trump, and he said, I like it, but let's tweak this. Let's do it differently.
The hat itself, did we focus group the hat? No. It was really a coup, and it's one of those things you never know in a campaign that certainly just clicked.
On the signature hat?
I think he's stolen from me a few times. I really, first of all, with the hats,
Oh, that's true.
With the hats, he's totally stolen, And if you look at him, his hats are red and white. Last time I checked, this country is red, white, and blue. So to me, he seems like he's a secret, pro-Canada president.
Friedlander says something sure to ruffle MAGA's feathers.
Researchers at the World Policy Analysis Center study the issue of paid family leave.
The question of why we don't have it is one that countries around the world are asking.
The United States is one of just 7 countries in the world without national paid maternity leave. 186 countries guarantee new mothers paid leave from work. The average paid time off, 31 weeks. 109 countries guarantee new fathers paid leave. The average time off is 29 weeks. And 181 countries guarantee paid sick leave, more than 2/3 providing 12 weeks or more.
The history here is really a history of lots of efforts just to get unpaid leave passed. And the problem has always been getting Congress to act. Americans across parties support paid leave.
Well, the world champion can explain this predicament.
In Europe and other countries, many women get, 6 months or more paid leave after giving birth to a baby. Ours generally, women in this country generally get 0 days off after giving birth to a baby. And why is that? And that's because our women care about the economy. In Europe and other countries, they don't. So the women here care more.
Shout out to Salon on YouTube. This entire interview is a must watch.
Here we go. A hidden, intricate web links hundreds of popular food brands to work done by U.S. prisoners. A 2-year Associated Press investigation found that everything from grains, meat, eggs, and milk had been grown, harvested, or produced by incarcerated people. And their labor finds its way into the supply chains of some of the most recognized brands and largest food companies in the world.
On the prison industrial complex and more.
Whole Foods is a great company. Yeah. Aren't they just always giving those prisoners jobs like that, All these companies are so fake, I think, these big corporations, Nike giving those, little kids jobs in other countries. Acting woke, supporting Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Yet Nike still makes all of the Washington Redskins uniforms. So much for their racial equality.
Friedlander chides the ultra wealthy.
Doesn't matter what he does, I'm going to vote for him.
It really doesn't matter what he does.
Doesn't matter what he does, and I assume a lot of this crowd can agree with me as well.
Well, what if he had a political opponent killed, like his lawyer said, that he would be immune from?
Vote for Trump.
Still voting for Trump, even if he had a political opponent killed?
I'll make it clear for you. I don't care what he does. I'm voting for Trump. And I think majority of this line is too.
Even if he had a political opponent killed?
Absolutely. Doesn't matter. I'm voting for Trump.
Well, there you have it.
On the voting blocks of America.
People say certain people vote against their best interests. I disagree with that. I think there's like 2 main power structures in the country. There's the white male supremacy power structure, and then there's the corporate supremacy power structure. When people are making fun of, let's say someone's white, low income, and racist. Let's just say. I'm not saying all people are. A lot are not.
Right.
But let's say a person is. And then they get made fun of for not voting for the Affordable Health Care Act or some other things that are just going to, if they're voting Republican, they're just going to sort of enrich the rich.
Sure.
But if you're someone who's a bigot and a racist, and that candidate running is a bigot and a racist, you're voting in your best interest.
Friedlander's just preaching here.
We're always taught that we're the best at everything. And then when you learn that, and then when you believe that, and then there's actually problems going on, it gets people to sort of not look at, if you're taught we're number one, well, it can't be us. It must be somebody else. And then bad politicians will basically tell people, oh, it's those immigrants over there. That's what's messing things up.
It's crazy what's going on. They're ruining our country. And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. And I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way. No, they're coming from all over the world, people all over the world. We have no idea. They could be healthy. They could be very unhealthy. They could bring in disease that's going to catch on in our country, but they do bring in crime.
America is the greatest country on earth.
Friedlander's take on this?
So it's interesting that everyone since they're a child has been fed this idea that we're the greatest. And we're not just individually the greatest. As a country, we have the greatest laws and system that can make anybody, if they just work hard, be rich and famous. And so when it doesn't start happening to people, they get really frustrated. It's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real, Yeah. So some people they don't know how to handle it, and they go in different directions of what they think will make them feel better. Whether it's wherever they're looking.
We rank number 1 in education freedom. We are number 1 in economic freedom.
The buzzwords, how powerful they are, right?
When we say that we stand for freedom and liberty, that means other countries don't, because that's not in their slogan. Right. Most countries don't even have slogans. All our cities have slogans. In my stand-up act, I ask other people from other countries and cities in other countries, like, what's your slogan? They're like, we don't really have one. We all have one. We sell stuff. You're right. We market more than anybody.
You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a f***. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so f*** your target. F*** your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Remember this scathing, passionate, spot-on rant by activist Kimberly Jones? This is exactly it.
I mean, I don't like Trump at all. I think he's a very dangerous president. But it's, if you just think, oh, we get rid of Trump and everything will be fine again, I think that's a mistake. Trump did not invent mass incarceration. He didn't invent the Atlantic slave trade. He didn't invent no health care for people. He didn't invite endless wars. So I criticized, the whole system.
It's the system. It's always been the system and will always be the system unless there is revolutionary change.
I feel very sorry for any country that doesn't have oil, because they will never know what it's like to have us liberate them. Feel bad for them.
All right, I got some thoughts here. But first things first, if you can, please do become a channel member at youtube.com/TYT Sports. Click the join button on our homepage and or go to tyt.com/join. If you'd like to support me on my socials, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As I ended this, I said it's always been the system. And unless there is change, we will continue to muddy ourselves thinking that, voting one way is going to completely reshape in this current two-party system, because it won't. And we are even seeing the struggle within the Democratic Party that people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders and others who are, thought of as progressive will sometimes screw over the workers, or they will break from others within their own party because they don't have the same corporate interests as those who donate to others in their party. And yet what he's talking about here is stuff that European countries have. Healthcare, paid family leave. So when he says, I don't like Trump at all, he's dangerous, but thinking we have to get rid of him when he didn't invent mass incarceration, he didn't invent the Atlantic slave trade, didn't invent no healthcare for people, didn't invent endless wars, he is certainly promoting everything that is against those things or for those things because of his rhetoric and the policies he puts in place. But it is accurate to say, and look, many have seen our work on this, we despise him. But there are many other presidents who could have at least tried their best in having us, the richest country, not have healthcare, having the worst mass incarceration, having what is deemed as, per many, slave labor inside prisons that is enabled by the 13th Amendment. It has been water carrying over the years, from Congress to the Senate to each and every president. It is the same interests over and over again. Yeah, there could be some differing here and there on policies that certainly help people, but in the grand scheme of things, it is not going to get to that point until we recognize, come together as a cohesive working class unit and see the divide, that it is just that, working class against those who have, like the DeVosses, who have billions upon billions of dollars and view us as a number for profit so they could get another yacht.